Coming up today on Locked On Texas Tech, a return to the portal party, number one prospect in the LBK. What's going on?
You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. Today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off of your first purchase. Chris, great to be back with you. The only Chris Level. I'm Casey Cowan. Depending upon when you're hearing this, you may just heard us introduce ourselves a few hours ago, but felt like it's a good time to dive back in and actually try on another pair of britches, Chris. We've been so basketball heavy for obvious reasons, and we are transitioning at this point from a basketball sense into our portal and transfer and roster assembly britches in general. But we're actually going of the football variety here for this conversation today because we felt like this is something that we had to discuss with the Locked On Texas Tech family. And I'm not sure how many people are aware of this kind of playing out, this week or over maybe some recent hours or days, a pursuit of another pursuer. We knew leaving the last cycle, as far as the transfer portal window, that there were still some big wants as far as maybe some help on the edge or some help as far as QB killers, I think maybe pass catchers. And I want to get back to that a little bit with you before we get out of here today as far as those biggest wants heading into this one. But the name is David Bailey. Stanford transfer, edge guy, defensive end, outside linebacker, and someone that apparently highly coveted. And this story just kind of developing recently, I guess, Chris, right? Because of a change in leadership out west.
Let's go footballing. What do you say? We've been hooping. Now time to do some footballing. So this has happened fairly quickly. This is a player that entered the portal on Friday at some point. His head coach was let go on Friday by new general manager Andrew Luck, former Stanford quarterback and former Indianapolis Colt and all the things. And with that, you get to jump to the front of the line and say, okay, well, none of the windows apply to me. When my coach is removed from his spot, I can immediately entertain what's out there. I think Texas Tech. So this is just wild stuff. The timing really benefits you because, again, there's this window of opportunity before these rules change that you can take advantage of. You'll hear a lot of us describing some of that on tomorrow morning's show as it relates to basketball, but it still applies to football here. But you've got an opportunity here to where you can kind of treat these players in this window, at least the timing right now, like you did back in December with the old rules until they change. And so the football part of this is, I think they've been ready at the drop of a hat. If something like this were to have happened and somebody gets into the portal that fits something that they're looking for, and this fits one of the, because there was three needs that I think that they would be intrigued by. This is one of them. The other two are slot receiver with speed, and then there's a potential safety. I think want to if it presents itself, and these are case by case basis, not just looking for a body, looking for as close to a guaranteed and a sure thing as you can get. So that's what we would say. It's got to all fit. But David Bailey fits as something that you're looking for. I think you wanted something in the upper class to pair up with Romello Height, who has, by all accounts, been everything that they hoped he would be. Now you just have to go do it in the fall. But David Bailey is like last year, 7 sacks, 5 forced fumbles. This is a player that's got, I think, over double-digit career sacks, and he's a pressure player. If, as somebody involved in these things said to me, watch the Super Bowl, Chris? Well, yeah, who didn't? You saw what Philly's defensive line did to our boy, didn't you? Yeah, I did. They hit him 11 times. They sacked him 6 times. They forced 3 turnovers in that game. Philly's defensive front won the Super Bowl. They beat a really good Chiefs team and beat our boy Mahomes. We are trying to put something like this together at the college level because there is some thought that there is just not enough O-line talent in the Big 12 to deal with it. You're going to have to put in 2 tight ends to deal with this all the time. You're going to have to adjust your scheme on offense to deal with what we're trying to put together up front on the defensive line. And this is the point where Cowan says, I'm kicking like a Cocker Spaniel.
Correct.
So I think financially willing to absolutely make this happen. Now, this is a California kid. And so part of me says, is this going to happen so fast that like USC or an Oregon or somebody else isn't going to be involved? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. UCLA, I mean, on and on it goes. He went to Mater Dei High School in California. But this is the beautiful thing about what they have put together financially, analytically, and everything to where on a moment's notice they can go make it happen. Go for it. Like, get involved. He has been on campus since Sunday. This is where your facility, and you can say to him, look at what we can do for you. We can pull everything out of you and make you a better player, and we can show you and introduce you to all these other portal guys and let them discuss how they have been treated in these last 3 to 4 months since they've been on campus. And this is all about player development here and nutrition here and recovery here and football here. And yes, we can take care of you financially as well. And the fact that he's already been on campus, there could be a decision that's imminent. And maybe he says, no, okay, I'm gonna hit pause. I'm gonna go see what else is out there and see what everybody is willing to offer up. But the fact that he's already here, I think you're in a pretty good spot. And this is the thought, is that this is a draft pick a year from now. Like, he's going to go to the Big 12 Pro Day and light it up. That's what you're dealing with here. Like, you could have multiple defensive ends at Big 12 Pro Day next year with Height and Bailey. And oh, by the way, everybody just will rave to you about Holmes and Skylar Gill Howard and Lee Hunter, and then you've still got all your young nucleus there. And why it's also, because I also had somebody go, hey man, is this going to scare one of these young kids off? Well, keep in mind, this is also important to note. Dylan Spencer coming back from injury. Joseph Adedire coming back from injury. Duda Banks, who plays a bit of a different position, coming back from injury. Bryce Ramirez dealt with some injury stuff. So you're not just whole there, but it could in fact squeeze somebody when you have to make cuts. But this is what they would view, I believe, a guarantee, a sure thing, somebody that will not suck, that will be somebody that we can really count on and will be really good at what they do, and we're willing to, hey Fence, I'm swinging for it. That's what you're seeing play out right now. And so as Cowan continues to itch, I'll quit talking or scratching, whatever.
Scratch, the itch is
less. That's right.
Scratch or scratch an itch, yes. The eternal debate we don't know.
My fault.
And by the way, for anybody getting squeezed out, sorry, there's nobody irreplaceable at this point in time. When you are anteing up in the way that you are and pursuing what you are pursuing, and I'd love to see any young guy make a dent. And I mean, obviously we all would, but it's not something really on my radar as much as, holy crap, we're going out and getting in these kinds of conversations, or these guys are coming to your facility. And I'll just remind everybody how many of those, when they were at that facility or visiting with the Red Raider contingency, going back to the beginning of the year, the end of last year, were then leaving there thinking, yeah, I'm going to check out a few other options. Maybe one, I don't know. There were more that we thought, all right, well, could wait around, I don't know, 72 hours, 4 days into the week, boom, he's in. So these things were kind of happening fairly quickly. I don't know if I should say quickly, but there seemed to be a resolution whenever they finally got on campus to visit the Red Raiders. And I'm sure Palo Alto, fine enough place. Stanford, fine enough place. The Texas Tech of the West, you hear many call it, but why not go for the real thing? right here in Lubbock, Texas, America. So would love to have him on board. And back to the squeezing aspect of it, and I'm sorry if you already mentioned it, but I just want to make sure it was a part of what we were throwing out there as far as information. In this particular case, a 1-year experience, is that right, as far as the timeline or eligibility goes?
Yeah, so it's not like this is somebody that comes in and this is a 1-year guy. It's that would be incorrect to state that. This is going to be like a 7 or 8 month guy.
Making a playoff push after the trade deadline, right?
Yeah, that's right. It's not ideal that he would have missed spring really wherever, but he's going to be somebody that's going to be wanting to make a decision rather quickly. The spring portal window hasn't opened. He is the top player in it right now.
First, today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. March Madness rolling on, and FanDuel is giving you the chance to get in on the action like never before. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. That's $200 extra bucks to use on anything and everything from buzzer beaters, comebacks, and more, to even who's cutting down the nets. And of course, it doesn't get any easier or faster than FanDuel, the FanDuel app. Simple to use. And when you win, you get paid instantly. No waiting around. So visit FanDuel.com today and get in on the action.
The spring portal window hasn't opened. He is the top player in it right now. That could change and all that. But there are systems in place that Texas Tech has organized, third parties and their own staff and all kinds of things to allow, and then you've just got people that, and this is the best combo. You've got a lot of motivation and you've got a lot of resources, and when you combine motivated resources together, it's a fun, scary / combo, if that makes sense.
So far,
and so you've got people that are willing to step up and do things at the drop of a hat to put yourself in a position like this. Because if this is a slow play, if you're not ready to act, hey man, did you see he got in the portal? Man, he'd be nice. Yeah, well, let's just see what happened. No, that's not what it's, hey, this checks the box. We know where he would rank with everything how we would want to view these things. With film study and everything like that. And if he's checking the boxes, and if it's a character fit, if it's a financial fit, it certainly fits something, a need that you want to continue to add to. And then the financial part of it, if you make that work, I mean, bang, bang. I mean, like, here you go. Let's ride. And I think, because how many guys did they get really serious about in December that came here and that that stayed here and visited, that left without an offer or without a commitment? I don't know if you had, but maybe none of them.
I'm like erring on the side of one, just because I can't imagine it was perfect. But I'm trying to recall. It seemed like maybe there was a running back or a couple options that, I don't know, whatever.
But
it was
pretty close.
Yeah,
pretty darn close to perfect fence and a swing. And you were just bomb after bomb over the fence, and you were landing them. And so I think that in this case, we'll see. I part of me just doesn't think it will be just so easy. But then again, the commitment and the structure around it, and then the facility, I mean, all the stuff that you've put together makes me feel like you've got a pretty good track record to say that, it's not going to shock me one bit if David Bailey ends up being a Red Raider sooner than later. We shall see. But this is big and potentially big news.
Yes, no doubt. And I mean, waiting with bated breath for your next text message. I'm glad I subscribed to the Matador Mob, because you got me amped up. Didn't really see this coming down the pipe here this afternoon, but you never know. And I got to apologize to David Bailey. I'm sorry, I was not familiar with your game. Kind of comes with the obscure lens known as Stanford athletics. I'm not really dialed into a whole lot of Stanford football news, which places me squarely among their most hardcore fans. But nonetheless, would love to have you out in West Texas. And it sounds like the kind of player that, even though some things will develop as we get into the actual window, you're not really waiting around on if you got a chance to bring them on board. So potentially really exciting stuff for Texas Tech. And in a spot that matters the most, lines of scrimmage win football games, and 1A and 1B to me is D-line and O-line in that order. So if you continue to impact that, what a world.
It's cake. I get it, and then I get to consume it, and because in this situation, I mean, Eddie Smith is still a freak. Charles Anderson is still a freak. Chetta Ofili is still a freak. I still have hopes for, like our man Isaac Smith. And like Dylan Spencer is still the freak that he was when you recruited him. Adedire is just solid. Charles Esters and Charles Anderson. I mean, on and on it goes. Ansel Nador. I mean, so the beautiful thing is, it hopefully doesn't affect any of those guys. And again, they continue to bake and grow and mature. And this is just an 8-month, fun little. Again, it's like taking a kid or making a trade at the trade deadline, and you just get them the rest of the season, and they're a free agent after that. And that's essentially what this is. But he plays a premium position, and I think you're wanting to go Philadelphia Eagles all over the Big 12. That's what you're trying to do.
All right. Thank you for that info, and appreciate a little extra time, Chris, and shout out to everybody else who was ready for some extra info at any time. That's what you get when you're subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. You get this. And of course, shout out to the Matador Mob, who has been marinating on this for hours by now. Already some well-developed and formulated thoughts, I'm sure, among that group on this subject, Chris. But we'll stand by for maybe something to come very soon. It is multi-hat season, I suppose. So back and forth. The cliches could be running wild, so bear with us. As we're trying to juggle a few things. But appreciate you as always, Chris, and we'll see you for the next one whenever it arrives.
I love me some footballing. I mean, I don't care what time of year it is, man, and happy to be footballing right now, especially in this case. So we'll see if we can't add to that group up front, because there's some very important people and well-placed people working on this thing right now. So anyways, guns remain up, man, always.
That's right. That's right. We got to get warmed back up, re-engage those portal party muscles. It's been a few weeks or a couple of months, but it was pretty fun last time around. Maybe we're going to have a fun start to this next round sometime here soon. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for being out there. Shout out to the everydayers, sometimes even twice a dayers. And of course, shout out to the Matador Mob. Hit the show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial if you dare. That's your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks for the time. And as always, we hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.